I gotcha. Can you send that link to the other guys, or are they here with you?
They should be. Okay.
Because I don't have their messenger to send the link to.
All right. Yep. Okay. So Sean's coming up now with Kim's.
With Kim's fucking login because, you know, I'm a cheap cunt.
So down the bottom somewhere, Sean.
Yeah.
There's a thing that says start video.
Video. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That fucking ugly head.
How are you, mate?
Good. Look at the fucking double chins going on too. That's fucking shocking.
Okay. Hey, mate, we're getting old. We're getting old. Excellent. I've just finished interviewing I Hate People, so there's a couple of questions I'm going to ask you soon.
Shit.
But we're gonna start off with the generic question: the influences. What got you into doing what you're doing?
Oh, I'll let Martin go first.
Oh, really? Okay. Let's see. What got me into doing this? It's been such a long time. I've been doing music since I was like 15, 16. So, and that's a fucking long time. So influences, probably the Dead Kennedys at first, and then maybe Australian stuff like the Scientists.
Oh, excellent.
Johnny's.
Yeah, yeah. Showdown.
Bit of Beast of Bourbon, I suppose. All of that sort of stuff, and throughout. Some of the sort of smaller punk bands, I guess, or a bit of Crass.
Love Crass. I got their Christmas album.
the Crassmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So many things, you know. Space Juniors.
Brilliant. I used to live with one of the Space Juniors.
Oh, really? Carl?
No. Fuck. The one with the blonde dreadlocks.
D.
Yeah, we're going back 84 here.
D. Roth.
Yeah, we actually started a magazine together.
Oh, really?
It wasn't a magazine. It was a paper on the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to hear someone actually bring them up, because they're a very underrated band.
Absolutely.
I think people like the Red Planet Rockets more.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I'm still in touch with Carl, so he's living up in Port Macquarie. I don't think he's doing very much music. He sort of spent the last 10 or so years in Vietnam. So doing whatnot.
Yes, we don't. Yeah, I know. what people do in Vietnam.
Yes. I'm just gonna see if I can. No. How do I get this to do? View gallery.
There you go. Yeah, hit view gallery, and you should see all of us at the same time.
Everybody. Okay, good. That's awesome. What I wanted to see. That's so much better.
So I guess my turn then. I guess.
Yeah.
Bit like Martin. When it comes to this band, I think my influences are the early '80s, late '70s hardcore stuff, DOA, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, that kind of stuff. But overall, like, I'm a bit not quite as old as Martin, but I'm getting there, and I've been doing this for a while. And I started playing in bands because I grew up as a teenager in Darwin, and there was nothing happening. I moved to America for a couple of years. Got to see amazing fucking bands, and I was going to gigs 5 nights a week, you know. I mean, just seeing amazing. Then I moved back to Darwin, and there was nothing. There was like one shitty, and they were a shitty punk band, and a bunch of metal bands. Like, fuck it, I can do this, and got a band together, and I've been doing bands off and on ever since. And it's just one of those things that I'm stuck with it now.
I tried doing the band thing, found out I had no talent.
That hadn't stopped me. It's all right.
I could probably get up and sing, but yeah, probably not either. My voice. Yeah.
I'm living proof you don't need any ability to get up and yell at a microphone, mate. Don't let that stop you. And you're never too old. I stopped for 10 years and got back into it a couple of years ago. And yeah, you're never too old to do it. I hated not doing it. And when the chance came along to do it again, I was like, fucking oath. Just, yeah. And here we are.
You miss it. You miss it when you haven't been doing it for a little while.
Fuck, you do.
Oh,
you do.
Sure you would. Yeah, definitely.
It's like therapy for me, I think, getting up and swearing and carrying on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cheaper than therapy anyway.
Definitely cheaper than therapy.
Yeah. So when you were in America, what did you get to see? You know, some bands that we will never like. Did G.G. Allen? Did you get to see them?
Yes, I wasn't there for that. I was a bit later, late 90s, but I got to see a lot of the bands that came through the revival. Like I got to see the UK subs before they were really old. I got to see the Business with Mickey Fitz.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, and I lived in Canada for a while as well, so I got to see, you know, Dayglow Abortions, DOA, No Means No, all that kind of shit, the Super Suckers. When I was living in Canada, the New Bomb Turks played down the street from me regularly because I lived in Ohio, and that was where they were from. So I saw them all the fucking time. You know, and yeah, coming back to rural Australia and then there being nothing, it was like, fuck this, I have to do something, you know.
Yeah, and I've listened to a fair bit of your stuff now, and you're like the epitome of Australian punk, if you ask me. You know, you guys.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, you guys have just got it. You got that sound, and every other band that I've interviewed are going to say, "Why don't you fucking say that to me?" But no, truthfully, and. I don't know, Sean, I don't know if you remember we had a bit of a disagreement.
We did.
Oh,
I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. and it was only because I didn't know what to post that day, and I wanted to post 2 songs every day.
Well, we've got a surprise for you on that score. I wasn't going to tell you just yet, but we are actually going to cover that song with new lyrics.
Oh, terrific.
And we're going to record it, hopefully. We started doing it the last couple of weeks. And, yeah.
Oh, terrific.
I think you'll get, hopefully, a kick out of it.
Yep, yeah. I will. I didn't think you would have connected the name.
Oh, yeah, no. Up here for thinking.
Yeah, that's right. And another thing, I tried to Google you guys, and for the first 3 or 4 times, it kept coming up as the Owen Guns gun shop.
Gun shop in, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, that's not where you got the name from, but is it?
No. It's weird. I actually came up with the name. Like one of our 5th member, Checky, who writes stuff for us but doesn't play because he lives way down the south coast. He was actually living up at Newcastle, and this all started between him and me as just a fun recording project. We didn't intend to start a proper band or anything. And I was sitting off the coast of Port Kembla in a kayak, messaging him who lived in Newcastle. And he said, we should call this the Owen Guns because it was designed in Port Kembla and manufactured in Newcastle and Port Kembla. We're kind of a bit of a history nerd. It just kind of struck me, and it's stuck as a good name ever since.
Yep. Excellent.
Before that, we were going to call ourselves Saveljugend because what was more offensive than pedophile Nazis? But we thought, maybe that's probably not the best name.
Yeah.
That didn't last. That didn't last more than about a week. Like, no, they're not doing that.
And I heard in the grapevine that you actually did a song with "I Hate People," and there's a story to that.
Yes. So Craig had sent out, or the label Craig's band's on, sent out a promo to one of their songs. I think it was Shit Cunt. And one of the guys from Anti-Skeptic, who, I don't know if you know them, they're a shithouse Christian punk band. They're very popular, but,
Are they?
So yeah, they sold a lot of records in the in the early 2000s in that shit Christian punk thing, which I fucking hate in general. But he took offense. He was somehow on the mailing list that got this and wrote this big thing, big missive back going, oh, it's really offensive. Why are you sending me this trash? No talent at all, swearing, blah, blah, wank, wank, wank. And so Craig told me about it. And I was like, you cunts should write a song about it. And he says, oh, yeah. Do you want to help us write some lyrics? And about 5 minutes later, I reckon I had them done and sent off to him, and they recorded it. And finally, thanks to lockdown, last time we played with them, I was actually able to sing it with them, which was really cool. So it's pretty harsh, but fair, I reckon.
Harsh but fair. You also did. You also did an AC/DC cover last time.
They let me on stage to do "Let There Be Rock" with them, which was actually, I was terrified. I was like, I can't fucking do this, but it came up all right.
It had to have been better than Rollins and the Hard-Ons.
It was
very similar,
but it was good. I enjoyed it. I'll send you some. We've got some video of it. I'll dig up the video. I'll send you a copy of the video. Yeah,
excellent.
But we're all big fans of the I Hate People boys. Played quite a few gigs with them. I think they're the band we've played probably the most gigs with overall, and they're just good blokes. All three of them are lovely people. And Craig's fucking hilarious. I love him to death.
Amazing. Yeah.
And he's one of the nicest guys too. Like he's talented, but he's also just super generous with his time and always hooking us up with gigs up there. And yeah, he's one of those people that's really valuable to have in the scene because he helps connect people as well.
Yeah.
Well, I actually was talking to him about the passing out thing. And he said it happened 3 times that night. It happened when they got back to the hotel, and then it happened again later that night at the hotel.
We were actually recording, so I wasn't there, but he messaged us with video.
Yeah.
The next day when we were recording up in Newcastle with Jeff, and I was like, holy shit, he did a fucking ender right off the thing. So you got to hand it to him, and they're still kicking ass and still playing. And that album of theirs is tremendous.
Yeah, I've only heard a couple of the debut album, and I really dig the Australian punk scene at the moment.
Look, there's heaps of good bands going on at the moment.
There are.
You have to look for them though. It's like if once you get into the scene, you discover lots, but if you look at it at face value, there's a lot of also shit. There's a lot of middle of the road pop punk. And if you get past that, there's loads of good stuff. Yeah, mostly from older cunts like us too. So come on, kids, pull your fingers out and play some fucking songs.
Well, it's something that I've brought up in most of the interviews, but it's like the 70s had a great punk scene. The 80s had a mad punk scene. The 90s punk scene was fucked. And the 2000s, the punk scene in Australia has been fucking top notch. Like and which is something that I'm going to repeat again. But I hadn't been. I'm only new to social media, and I had all my Australian punk records stolen. And so the 90s, all I could listen to was what I get at the record shop. So like I was listening to NoFX, Bad Religion, all that sort of stuff. And then I got introduced about 3 years ago to social media, and I found that I could go on the internet and get fucking
all of the
all the old bands that I loved. I can get that all back because all my vinyl was stolen, and like I had 400 records, like from 77 punk scene all the way up to the Nursery Crimes. You know what I mean? They were probably the last punk band record that I bought. Wow. And then that got stolen in, I think, 98, 450 something records. So, and I couldn't get any of that back because I was living on the Gold Coast. I couldn't find anyone, and I wasn't into the internet or anything. And now that I'm back into the internet, I got all those songs back, and I got invited onto the Aussie punk site. And then I've heard all this stuff that's been happening in the Australian punk scene lately, and you guys are fucking amazing. I'm like, I mean, I Hate People, the Owen Guns, Radio Rejects, Top Novel, you know, all these bands I'm just been hearing, and it's fucking great. Like you guys have gone back to basics.
There's a huge amount of stuff, but there's also like lots of internet radio stations. There's so much information out there, and because you can get to pretty well anywhere on the planet, you've got all of the people in Britain. There's a guy that's playing our stuff and lots of other stuff in France at the moment, and he's got 5 different places where his radio station goes to. He goes to Britain, but he also goes to Germany. His one in France, and a couple in California as well. He's trying to get one out here. It's like all over the place, and there's 3 or 4 really big radio stations, but there's tons and tons of little independent ones that are all over the place. And that's helping.
Yeah, well, we get fans from weird places. Like we get, because I'm a bit of a nerd with that shit. When someone adds us, or when someone follows the band's Facebook page, I go and see who they are. We got people listening to us from fucking Brazil and Mexico, and you know, I never would have thought when we started doing this and recording that some prick in Mexico would think that we were good. But
Bulgaria.
And have you heard of Pagar Amor?
Pagar Amor? No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, they're a Mexican punk band.
Okay,
and they are fucking brilliant. I've only heard their first LP, and it's like covers. They do Let It Be, but they just fucking rock it, man. And it's just these 3 Mexicans, and like they're brilliant. But yeah, that just came into my brain when you brought up Mexico. But okay. If you got to go see 3 bands in the one night, who would be the top 3 bands that you would see first, Sean?
Shit. Now or in their heyday, because that's 2 different things as well.
Okay. Now.
I'd love to see Mark Kane again, because I just love them. Shellac, another one.
Shellac, yes.
I saw them live a couple of years ago, and they were amazing. I'll throw in something different as a third one, maybe Neptune Power Federation. Yeah. I'm going to see again in a little while. They are they're not a punk band, but they contain a lot of punk band members. 2 of the guys from Nancy Vandal, one from Frenzal Rome, and Troy, who's been in a load of hardcore bands in the 90s. And they're kind of a weird mix of prog rock and punk. And Neptune Power Federation, they're spectacular live. I'm really excited. We're playing with them next year at Thrashville. And just as a visual thing, she dresses up in this like crazy outfits, and the guitar works fucking just on point. Like Troy as a lead player is amazing. So that'd be my 3. Wow. But that would change if you would have asked me again in 20 minutes. I'd think of 3 other bands, because there's a lot going on at the moment that is really good. I think too, just coming out of lockdown, I'm eager to see more bands.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. It's been ridiculous.
It's been horrible.
I think I'll go with stuff that's still around. So you probably see all 3 of in the same place. Let's say Grindhouse, Coffin, and the Meanies.
Okay.
And Sean missed out on the Meanies last weekend.
Yeah, I was pissed off at that being cancelled. That was the Meanies and Dick Lord, and I was keen to see both because I'm fans of both. And Dick Lord, of course. Yeah. they're a great band live too, Dick Lord. Don't discount them because they're funny. They're also fucking awesome. It's easy to bands that are a bit funny, it's easy to go, oh, that's just a novelty act. But they are genuine. And Left Hards is another one. I think they've broken up for a while now, but up until recently, they were just fucking amazing. And another band that were funny and put on a really good stage show, but a solid band too.
Yeah. Have you seen the Hellman and Link doing? Oh God, I can't think of the song now. But it's a live thing on YouTube. It's the Hellman and Ben Brown and Ling. They're singing, and it's all I can think of is alcohol abuse. Like Link he stops like every 3 or 4 seconds and just can't control himself. He just laughs. He's just going, nah, look, we're too fucked up. This shouldn't even be happening. And it's, I don't know, it's just going around on YouTube at the moment, and it was probably the funniest thing I've seen in a while.
Like, I love that one out.
Yeah, the last time I saw the Meanies, I'd say would be in on the Gold Coast at the Patch. I think it was 88, no, 90, maybe at the most. And after he tried to rape himself with a drumstick, he's gone and snotted across the stage, and it was actually a fluorescent green piece of snot that went from one end of the stage to the other. And I think the guy is one of the most amazing frontmen I've ever seen. Like, bring up the Meanies, that's all I can think of is this guy, Ling. He's just amazing.
I saw him, I think 3 years ago at River Rocks in Geelong, and he still got it. Like, they were still, I hadn't seen him in forever, and I didn't know what to expect. And holy shit, they were just as good as they were 20 years before. He still got it.
Yeah.
He may not be quite as quick running around the stage as he was, but
Well, he's 60 kilos heavier, and he's got no hair.
Yeah, it's weird seeing him with no hair and the mo. I didn't know what to expect when he walked on stage. I was like, "Who's this prick?" But it was Link, and he got out there and he did it, and it was really fucking good. And I reckon, Martin, just on your Grindhouse call, that's an excellent call, because Grindhouse are fucking great Australian band. I don't know if you've heard them, Matt, but check Grindhouse out. They're big guitar sound, funny, really good fucking band too.
I think that's probably the thing. A lot of the stuff that I think we both listen to has a really good sense of humour. Grindhouse, like Dick Lord, Flangerpannies, people like that. I hate people as well. Yeah, the stuff that they do is just hilarious. And I think that's
Australian Beef Week show. There's, when it comes to humour, I don't know if you've heard them, Matt, but they're another band I'll bang on about. The Australian Beef Week show, I reckon, are the undiscovered gem of Australian punk rock music.
Okay, I'll have to look them up.
And again, they're older blokes. They've been in a lot of other bands before, but funny and just brilliant live, and great songs. Anyone that puts out an album called "What's the Go with Fuckwits," and that kind of gives you an idea. And boy, can they drink!
Excellent. Okay. Have you got anything coming out at the moment?
We're going back into record again in March, and the plan is to record a full length. As to when it will be out, because we want to do a vinyl this time, and vinyl plants are backed up to the arse, so we may release a couple of them on an EP first, just a digital EP, just to keep you tided over. But we might be putting a video together for one of the songs from the last album. We never did a video for Expert and a Minor Threat shirt, so I've been hassling Martin, who's our video guy, and we may bung something together for that, because that was a good song that I reckon deserves a video. But we're going back in March for recording, and then depending on how things go with COVID and record companies and pressing plants and things, hopefully we'll have at least an EP, and then the full length a little bit after that. And we're going to cover that Rumper Stomper cover
Yeah.
the new lyrics, and that's going to be on the album, hopefully, if it works out. Which it sounds like it's going to. We've rehearsed it 3 times now, Martin.
Yeah, and we should probably play it at the next gig, just to
give everyone a. But yeah, that's it's very different lyrics to the original.
That's good because it's a brilliant song.
Well, the music's great. That's the problem with it. Like the music's great, just the lyrics are shit.
Yeah, and they were a studio band, and the lyrics were what they had to do.
Yeah, it fit the movie. Like it was perfect for the movie. And it's weird because they were all session musos. Like I did it when we decided to do it. I did a bit of poking around to find out more about it. And none of them are punks. They're all just random session musos that just put it together, and they've constructed it really fucking well. The music's great, and that's why I think everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's a great song." And then they go, "Oh, fuck, I wish it wasn't."
Yeah,
wish it was a bit like some of the early Screwdriver stuff, where you listen to it and you go, "Well, the music's not too bad, but it's just horrid racist shit."
Yeah.
Who were the guys that I found somebody else that had been doing it? Somebody called Squiggy or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're Italian or something like that. Yeah,
wasn't nearly as racist, but it was still pretty dumb shit. And they didn't do the whole Nazi business. So
yeah, but they still
kind of, while we were learning it, it was easier to listen to them.
Yeah, than the original.
Yeah, definitely. No, that was a big mistake of mine. Oh no, let's just get off that subject. It was just a mistake. It was.
And I think you copped it from me because I'd seen someone else do it a week before who was like a full-on racist too.
Oh, really?
That's why I was going, I'm not a fucking gan, because there was this guy that was on because I'm hopeless with social media. I'm on fucking millions of punk forums and pages, and I see that song posted probably once a month. And not always, but most of the time it's someone who will then go on and do a bunch of racist shit or say a bunch of racist shit to defend himself, which you didn't do to your credit. You took it on the chin and was there and were like, you know what? Yeah, no, I probably shouldn't have posted that. Whereas a lot of these guys are like, no, we love Trump, and then insert racist comment here. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. It was like, you know what? Let's take it back. Because the music, like you said yourself, the music it's a fucking cracking tune. So let's take it back so that we can give it to people and they can play it and not feel like shit about enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, I've got the soundtrack. It doesn't get played in my house.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing you can play, is it?
No, especially my wife is Indigenous and my 8 kids are Indigenous. So
she'd probably belt you if you played it. I would. Oh.
She went off with me watching the movie on Netflix not about 6 months ago. I just love the way that they were so openly raw with what was happening in Melbourne at that point of time, and the acting and the movie. It is shocking. It's a shocking movie. Like not just the racism and all that, just like the sexism, like the way they treated the women.
Brutal. Yeah, it's a brutal film, but we're probably all old enough to have known people like that. It's not so bad these days, but it's still there. But back in those days, Christ, I remember knowing a bunch of people like that, and it's just it was quite true to life if you knew those kind of people.
Oh, definitely. I remember in '86 when I was living on the Gold Coast, there was a skinhead group that lived in Surfers, in a squat house in Surfers, and they actually had a African American skinhead in their group, and I'm like,
I mean, I guess that comes from the Sharps and people,
rude boys.
Yeah, it's not all skinheads are racist fuckwits, and it's easy to forget that because the media only shows the Nazis. I do know plenty of skinheads who are Sharps and who are really decent, upstanding human beings who are not racist, not sexist, and any of that. And I feel sorry for them because the average punter on the street doesn't think about a Sharp, they
No,
think, you know, oh, he's probably a racist. He's probably out there bashing people or, you know, carrying on. And they're not all like that, you know. And most of them aren't like that. It's just the very vocal minority of right-wing Nazi flogs who, as usual, ruin everything for everyone.
Exactly, and especially like in Australia, the racist people are people that you wouldn't even expect. Like they're dressed in I was going to say uniforms then, like
Some of them are.
yeah. But you know they're dressed in suits or you know
With red ties.
they're country folk or something like that, and it's like. And the whole thing, it's tarred with the one brush. And unfortunately, people see it that way, and it just doesn't, yeah. But we'll get off that subject now. Because that was just one big fuck up that I've been kicking myself for so long, ever since. I've even had arguments with my 14-year-old daughter about it. It was like, fucking that's racist. What you just did then? I said, no, it's not. I was just trying to. But anyway, what would be the best, your most favourite place to tour if you got to tour now that the borders are open?
I'd love to play. We're getting people ask us all the time to come up and play Queensland and Melbourne, and I'd like to go to either of those places. Like with lockdowns and shit, it's nice to even play, you know, Newcastle. I do like playing up that way. And Sydney, I love, because we're a weird band because we've got members all across the place. Like any show we do is a tour for one of us. Yeah, because you know someone's got to drive a couple of hours to any show we do. You know, I do enjoy playing Sydney, but I really want to play Melbourne and Brisbane. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Play the Esplanade down there in Fitzroy.
Yeah, or the Gasso or Bendigo Hotel, well, those kind of places. We had a gig lined up, but
before the last lockdown, we had the Gasometer Hotel in
and that was going to be with I Hate People. We were going to all go down.
That's right, it was.
And that's kind of COVID kind of screwed that. But you know, eventually, if we don't all die from it, we'll get to do these things.
So with the COVID, like, and you are spread out so much, was there a lot of Skyping going, "Oi, listen to this"?
It was a nightmare for us. Like we didn't get in the same room together for 5 months. But we'd already kind of started writing stuff. So it was kind of like, keep listening to this that we'd already recorded. Demos on camera at the rehearsal rooms. On Mark came up with a couple of good riffs. Whereas like we should build songs off this. I think my favorite one, we've got a song coming out soon. We're going to call, tentatively we've titled it Mark Got Stung in the Head by 5 Bees, and all we got from it was this shitty song because he got stung by 5 bees just before lockdown finished. And we said we should make a song out of it. He sent us a riff and 30 seconds later we had a song. So I guess that's the bonus of having technology like, you know, Skype and WhatsApp, and that we have a WhatsApp group where he can throw up videos of riffs and stuff, and we can kind of go back and forth on what we want to do with them. But it's not the same as being in the same room together.
Of course.
And that one will have a really, really good video with it as well.
Yes, can't give away too much, but once we record that one, we've already got plans for an amusing video for that one.
So. Yep. The worst gig you've ever played.
Worst gig we've ever played.
It's not going to be the same with both of you either.
I reckon the one where one of us, and I won't single him out, one of us had a bit too much to drink, and doesn't normally do this, but he had a bit too much to drink, and we were just off. Like, but it's funny because when you're on stage and you fuck up or someone fucks up, you know it and you feel it, but people at the front, they kind of go, well, what are you angry about? It wasn't that bad a show. And
that's punk. Like, it's punk. If you fuck up playing punk, your audience don't really fucking, oh, I heard that.
That was a bad note.
Exactly.
We don't do that. We don't I think
We've been lucky. We haven't really had.
We haven't had a really shit house.
Yeah. Maybe the Punks Picnic, the first one, just because we couldn't hear each other. That was our first ever gig. But even that wasn't bad. We were just a bit loose, you know. We've been lucky as a band that we haven't had a disaster yet. And I know they're coming because every band goes through it, but we really haven't had a gig where it's like, fuck me, we were just shit, you know.
Because
maybe that's down the lockdown and it's not playing as many gigs as we would have liked as well. But eventually we'll get to that shit one where one of us falls off the stage or does something stupid, but it hasn't happened yet.
One, we make it really fucking easy for ourselves by writing easy songs and stuff that we just remember. So there's not really very much that we can do to fuck things up.
Oh, give me time. I'll find a way. Don't worry.
Actually, yes. There was one. Oh God, what's happened to my? Okay. Something's gone wrong with my.
We can still see you.
You can still see me. All right. Well, I will get it back. Here we go. There we go. We played one at Dicey Riley's.
Oh my God.
I could not remember pretty well all the way through a song. What was it? It was a Psycho. We used to do a Psychos cover.
Yes, yeah.
And
Got to go to the pub. Yeah.
I could not remember the chords of it all the way through. And I'm just going, I don't know. And Sean's looking at me sideways all the way through it, going, what's going on?
I remember that now. Yeah.
Hey, getting old.
Guys, you're right. What was the patronage like at Dicey Riley's? Because
good. It's always
that's a really mixed. That's like we've played, I think, 2 gigs there, and I've been to a lot of other gigs where I'll go there as a punter, and they're really mixed, depending on the bands playing and depending on the amount of people. Because you'll get the blow-ins that aren't there to see a punk show and don't know what to fucking think of it all. But by and large, once they've had a couple of drinks, they've relaxed. And, you know, everyone's told me stories in the past of how it can be difficult to play, but I've never seen it myself, apart from the odd little heckle. But that's part of the game, you know, that's part of the fun.
Yeah. Well, I saw Motorhead at the Playroom on the Gold Coast years ago. I think it was late 80s, maybe early 90s. I can't remember. It was a big blur back then anyway. But I'd been hanging to see Motorhead since I first got into punk in 82. And I really want to see Motorhead. We got to see Motorhead. Some guy with a blonde flat top threw a can at Lemmy. That happens again, I'm off. Fuckwit to another can. They played 3 songs. I got to hear 3 songs of Motorhead. I got to watch 2.5 songs of Motorhead, and it was shattering. Have you ever had that experience where the crowd just is not?
I've played a gig in a previous band like that. I played a gig in a band called Plonko when I lived in Darwin, and we played a gig rurally that was a bunch of blues bands and us. And we were a punk band and dodgy as fuck. And the crowd hated us. And we would, you know, the scene from Blues Brothers where you've got the chicken wire and the cans and bottles smashing against the chicken wire? Well, that was us, but we had no chicken wire. It was fucked, and everyone wanted to fight. And I'm not a big drinker, and I'd had a couple of drinks, so I was challenging the crowd to suck my dick, and which didn't go down well with a bunch of rednecks and bikies who wanted to kill us. And so I've played gigs like that, but it was a weird thing because we were 7th on the bill, and it was literally 6 bands playing Cold Chisel covers and shit before that, and a very drunk crowd that didn't want to see us at all.
Yeah. Fair enough. And he doesn't have one of those moments.
I remember. Well, I was in a band. I used to be in a band called Braggadol, back in the early '80s, and we had some fairly good gigs. we supported the Dead Kennedys at the Trade Union Club.
Wow.
Um,
Fucking
was,
and I was just about to bring up Trade Union Club when you brought up Ragged. You're on the 3rd floor, hey?
yeah.
Yes.
And it was, we came on before the Johnnies played after us.
Yep.
And the place was solid as a rock with people. There was just, and there was so many people. I'd never played in front of that many people before, and you came on, and that all they really wanted to do was see the Dead Kennedys. And it was by the end of the like 45 minutes that we were on, they were really responsive, and they were throwing themselves all over the place. And you could walk up to the edge of the stage, past where the foldbacks were, and you could actually just step on people's shoulders, and you could walk back again, and there was just people everywhere. It was just slimy on the stage. God knows how the Johnnies sort of, how they did anything without sliding around the place, because there was just beer and shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't horrendous. It wasn't a bad gig. It was just like they didn't care. They didn't want to see us.
Yeah.
And Spencer said to me afterwards, I said, "So what did Jello think of us?" He said, "You were all right." He said, "So he obviously loved you."
Excellent. I was at that gig, man. That was insane.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Right before that too was I Spit on Your Gravy and Asylum, I think it was. Asylum or the
Asylum used to play on the 1st floor.
yeah, always on the 1st floor.
Yeah,
Your Gravy.
they were very, very good. They used to do some excellent covers as well, if you can remember. I think they used to do.
I think he's have you heard of his stuff now? His solo stuff.
No, the guitarist.
Mark, Mark, the Mark Welsh, the singer. With long blonde hair.
Yeah.
He hasn't got blonde hair now, but
No.
he's man now. But he I'll be back in 1 second. I've got to show you something.
I think I've still got an Asylum single somewhere.
We should now dance to entertain all the
We
public.
got practice tomorrow.
Big Fish, Little Fish cardboard box or some shit. There you go.
So where's Martu?
He's doing family stuff, he said.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mark's amazing. He's an artist now. He's done solo work. He tattoos, and he does shirts. He does one-off shirts. He done a Charles Manson T-shirt for me for my 50th. He also done. I was there.
Just lift it up and. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I was there. Kiss 1980, and that was at Brisbane Festival Hall.
Whoa.
But yeah, haven't listened to his solo stuff. Like his latest song, "Tit Fuck," brilliant song. Like it's pure fucking. Asylum were great, and Have a Nice Day. They, with Fiona, they were brilliant too. But his solo work has just grown musically, and
Wow.
and so we'll get back to you guys now that we've spoken about Mark. He's got to give me some money now that I
Sponsorship, yeah.
What's playing on your stereo at the moment? Or your iPad?
Yeah, I put us on so that I can remember all of the songs.
Yeah.
I was listening to Turbo Negro last night. That was the last thing I listened to. And the last thing I bought the Dick Lord fairly recently, and the last Beef Week show album has been getting a lot of play at my place as well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Martin? What else have you been listening to about grass?
The last thing that I listened to last night was Sabir.
Sabir, yes.
The Sabir, Sabir, the guy that runs the studio that we practice at. He's the guitarist out of Sabir, and at first we sort of like he's the friendliest guy on earth, and I always sort of thought, oh, Sabir is sort of a bit of a metal band, and
Hair metal, but they're not ridiculous. Yeah,
but yeah. And I was listening to their stuff last night, and it's really good. It's really
they do the
good.
full thing, like the spandex and the leather and the teased hair and all the cheesy stuff. And I saw him live a couple of years ago, and this guy, the singer, he's unreal. And he come out and he's wearing full spandex. He's got the teased hair and the bright red pointy guitar and that. And before they'd played a note, I'd written them off. I was like, these guys are going to be fucked. They were like, I wasn't there to see them. I thought these guys are going to be shit. I could just tell by looking at them. But they were fucking great. Like, they didn't take themselves they were in on the joke. They didn't take themselves too seriously. The song stood up and the guitar playing was fucking awesome. And it turns out that the guitarist, one of the guitarists runs the studio we rehearse in. So it's kind of neat to see him. Like, we just know him as this friendly dude. And there he is fucking playing in a hair metal band and really fucking killing it. So yeah, Sabir, check him out if you're into hair metal.
Yeah. So surprising.
No, it's funny. Like, this is embarrassing. Last couple of months, like I always listen to. I've got to listen to punk or every day, like, or because my kids are into their hip hop shit and everything. So, but I've been listening to each day. I will play Machine Gun Kelly. Please don't.
It's too late now. Cat's out of the bag, mate.
Like, this kid is fucking talented, but like, I don't know.
I don't know. I can't. I've tried. I can't. I've listened to his. I tried to go into it with an open mind and listen to his stuff, and I can't get past the shitness and the awful. What I don't get is the awful drum sound. You've got a drummer producing you, and the drums still sound like synthesized pus. I don't get it. But that's just me. I hate pop punk anyway. So yeah.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Jesus, mate. I wish I could say the same, Martin. You were so fucking lucky.
Like, it's just my play it over and over.
I'll send you a link, Martin, later, and you'll hate me for it.
Oh, great.
Chase is just learning the didgeridoo, so if you hear a, it's just him in the background. He keeps mute because of. So yeah, yeah. No, I'm. You just heard it then, did you? Fucking little shit. He knows I'm doing this, so he's pissing me off. All I can hear is. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm embarrassed that I've actually liked a few of his songs, and I've let the headphones come out, and I've listened to the songs that my kids are playing, like them. And then I'll put my headphones back in because they'll put fucking something else on that's hip hop that I just can't understand why hip hop was even invented. But there are a few songs that I like of his, and stop it because I will hit you with it in a second. And didgeridoos hurt, trust me. Yeah, and embarrassingly enough, I do take the headphones out and listen to a couple of these songs, but my stereo, the music I play on my stereo at the moment are the Chats.
So we're both big Chats fans, so
I've got when I clean the house and everything. So yeah.
And we're both fans of them, and I know Eamon a little bit. I talk to him on Facebook every now and then, and one of the nicest, most down-to-earth people, especially as they've gotten popular. He's still not a flog. And, you know, a lot of people, once they get popular, because I've known a lot of people in bands, and I've known some of them that have gotten popular, and a lot of them change and don't want to know you anymore. He's still like a super nice dude. And I dig the songs. I think Identity Theft was one of the best songs released by an Australian band in years. So yeah, you would get no arguments from me on that score.
Great. I think the first time I saw them was at River Rocks a couple of years ago, and it was just ridiculous. You know, the crowd, you could see the crowd didn't want to like them, and by the end of it, they were just flopping everywhere. They were great.
Yeah, I think so. When I first heard them, they came over. I think my daughter put it on, and it was coming through the TV, and I went, "Oh, Cosmic Psychos have brought out a new song," and it was that the pub feed.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, this Cosmic Psychos. I haven't heard them put out something new in a while, and I was so stoked. And I went to my daughter and I said, "Oh, you like the Cosmic Psychos?" And she goes, "No, this is because the chats are actually hitting Instagram big time at the moment. Like all the kids are listening to them. Like it's the music to a dance. I don't know if you know.
Okay, yeah. So it's one of those TikTok routines or whatever.
TikTok it is. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wow. And it was on that. And I said, what do you fucking listen to Psychos? And they said, no, it's a TikTok thing. And I had a look and there was a chat. And that was the first time I ever heard him. I thought, fucking what? These guys are the grandchildren of the Cosmic Psychos for sure. Like
the bastard children.
Yeah, if I was to interview them, I think it'd be what are your influences? Cosmic Psychos. It'd have to be like.
Oh, they don't hide it. They've toured together as well. Those two.
The thing on YouTube where they got up on stage with them, and they swapped instruments. Like the Cosmic Psychos gave their instrument, and they kept playing the same song. And I thought, that's great. So, what do you like to listen to that's not punk or metal or anything to do with that sort of that offspring?
I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. Pink Floyd and a lot of like blues stuff, Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff like that. If I'm not listening to, and embarrassingly enough, like bands like Tears for Fears and Depeche Mode, I'm a bit of a fan of those as well. You're going to give me shit for this now, Martin. So. But yeah, if I'm not listening to punk, it's usually like thrash metal. But if I'm not listening to either of those, and a bit of harsh noise stuff, which is really an acquired taste. But I play in a noise band as well, so I kind of have to listen to a bit of that stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do listen to a lot of country and western and blues, but I consider the Super Psychos to be country and western. So,
they did two full-on country albums. Well, 3 if you count the Junkyard Dogs. I guess 4 if you count the live one. So the Super Psychos have got the rock stuff, the punk stuff, and the country stuff. So you could call it, these days you could probably get away with calling them a country band more, but in the old days, they weren't. But their country stuff is amazing, and that's what got me into country, listening to the Super Suckers country albums, and that kind of led me on to Steve Earle and stuff like that. And everyone loves Johnny Cash. If you don't like Johnny Cash, you're probably some kind of cunt.
No, Johnny Cash. Oh, rest in peace, mate. I actually got my Johnny Cash T-shirt stolen at a Nirvana gig in Surface. Who was they were the backup band to Blister in the Sun.
Violent Femmes.
Backup band to the Violent Femmes in Surface in the late 80s. The bar's just about to shut, guys. We got to finish it off here.
Yes.
So much. I really appreciate you being.
It's a pleasure. And we've got a gig down in Dapto next week after next. You should come along. It's on a Sunday.
We'll be there, mate.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
No worries, man. Good on you.
But it's great hanging out with you. Sharing drinks and sharing laughs, the stories and the lies. And if the cops come calling, you're my alibi. 'Cause I'm heading out hungover. There's things I've got to do. But if I could, you know I would stay hanging out with you. Yes, if I could, you know I would keep hanging out with you. Laughing, walking, singing, talking, and all that we could do. Sharing some laughs over the past and finding out what's new. Yes, if I could, you know I would keep hanging out